You're listening to The Audit, presented by IT Audit Labs. Gretchen, welcome to The Audit, which is a podcast by IT Audit Labs that you've heard about and agreed to jump on. So thanks for coming on. And you have been a CISO for quite a while at a few different organizations. You were at Minnesota Judicial for a while, and then you were at Metropolitan Council for a while as their CISO, and you've recently moved on. But what I thought was interesting about your time at Metropolitan Council, you were also the director of infrastructure, which it's kind of like, I don't know, every CISO's dream to control both security and infrastructure so you don't have to battle with anybody to get something done.
Yes, that is true. You only battle with yourself in the mirror in the morning.
So yeah, what have you been up to? What are you doing these days? What do you like about security? And is there anything in particular you want to talk about?
Well, I made a change from the public sector to the private sector, and my time with infrastructure ops and security did help me realize that I really would prefer to be in the security realm. That playing both is good for a while, but not a position I want to be in permanently.
Sure. There was a recent breach in Minneapolis,
Yes.
Minneapolis public schools, and I don't know, when these breaches hit close to home, people clam up, and then you hear these whisperings about what happened, but nobody really says anything. And then maybe you read something in the paper 2 years later about what happened. And to me, it seems, not to go off on a tangent, but it seems to me, and Evan Franken from FR Secure talks about a broken industry in information technology or information security. And he talks about just that concept that we're working in a broken industry. And to me, this seems like one of those things that is broken about the industry, because we know there was a breach very close to home, but nobody ever talks about exactly what caused the breach, which would be really helpful for people who want to make sure that the breach doesn't happen to them, right? If the malicious actors are that close to home and reaching out to other schools and municipalities, you would think we would want to get in front of it sooner than later.
Well, and even this one, calling it an encryption event, that was a new terminology to be used. So that was kind of interesting. One reason we don't always share with each other is because we know what our issues are before something bad happens. And when the bad thing happens, there's some piece of us that has to go back and say, I knew what I should do and I didn't get it done.
It is hard. And if we know what needs to be fixed, but we didn't fix it, why wouldn't we have fixed it?
Right. Because there's too many things to fix, and it doesn't take just the technology, right? You have to influence people to be able to fix it.
You know, I think that might be one of the hardest things about the job, is really communicating what the issues are in a way that resonates and is understandable with the people who are in control of the budgets.
Yes, and I think that the people in control of the budgets or the decision making maybe don't have as much experience about what impact security incidents really could have. If you look back to like when I was a kid, we would get in a car without the seatbelt being buckled. We actually ride in the back of a pickup truck in lawn chairs to go out fishing. If my kid did that now, I would be horrified. So I think it's kind of that where the experiences have to catch up to what we know we should be doing.
So if you let's take a look at this Minneapolis public school situation, and I pick on it because the aftermath has been really horrible. The data that was leaked, shouldn't even say leaked, the data that was stolen and then publicized was really terrible, right? It's very sensitive information about minors. And as information security practitioners, that it really hits home that something under your care was exposed in that manner. And I hear what you're saying, where it's like, well, I knew about the issues, but I couldn't do anything about them. And the issues in this particular case, as I understand it, were an unpatched ESXi environment and old, outdated, probably signature-based anti-malware solutions on the endpoint. So poor endpoint control and poor patching practices in a core environment. So that said, I don't know. How do you, as somebody leading a security organization, if you've got those issues, what do you do? Because you know about them, but then, and you know that those are critical issues in the environment. What do you do to resolve that? Because now they've got all sorts of security professionals crawling all over that environment.
Yes.
And they're probably going to spend millions of dollars to fix it. So when we say, oh, well, we don't have budget, well, somehow they found the budget to resolve those issues, right? The money came from somewhere. So how do you operate in that position where you have a glaring problem, but you can't resolve it?
I think for myself, you have to be persistent, right? And you have to figure out what's the